host, Jimmy Fallon!
Today we will be talking about Star Wars. Let's begin. Joe, put on the slides.
In the beginning, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are sent to the Trade Confederation ship to make a settlement. Qui-Gon senses a lot of future and possibility in the beginning of Star Wars. Maybe because, he's like sensing something, like the beginning of something. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon go on to fight many droids in a cool 2000s vibe, which kind of made Star Wars more modern, with more VFX and CGI. The ship and its crew found out for sure what they're doing and rushed to try and stop them. And right around here, the viewers were given a hint at Palpatine's facade. What I want to know is how fast a senator can change from one thing to the other. Anyway, so they keep trying to negotiate, but they can't. In this movie, there are a lot of vehicles and weapons, and just everything that wasn't explored by the original trilogy. This part of the movie, we get introduced to Jar Jar Binks, who is a Gungan, who is an outcast from the other Gungans underwater. When Qui-Gon saved his life, he is now in a life debt to Qui-Gon, according to the gods. The Jedi used trickery for Jar Jar to lead them to the Gungan city. This is where we see hundreds of orb things that are home to these Gungans. The Jedi want Gungan City's army to join in the ordeal. The group goes into a bongo, where they are almost eaten by a fish. There's always bigger fish. Now, the group lands in Naboo. Is it just me, or do I want to destroy those droids just because it would be super satisfying? Will Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan do that for us? Everybody gets on the ship on their way to Coruscant on a brisk ride, or so they think. At this point, the ship has been hit, but R2-D2 fixes it, which saves them. But their ship has to land. They land on Tatooine. After a bunch of stuff, then Darth Maul gets shown in a hologram. A disturbance in the Force, meaning Anakin. But we'll get to that later, as Qui-Gon said that there was a disturbance in the Force. So. Anyway, here we get to see Anakin for the first time. Then Anakin and Padme are talking. This is where you can see the start of his fall and rise again. Republic credits aren't allowed to get new parts with the Republic credits. And they need a new way. And so they agree if they win the race, they get the new parts and Anakin. But if they lose, then he gets the credits and ship. After Anakin wins, then Darth Maul comes and fights with Qui-Gon. And he is startled. And that's the first warning. Now, the Confederation is catching on onto the underwater cities. A couple useless scenes later, then Qui-Gon and Yoda and Mace. Qui-Gon tells Yoda and Mace about the Sith. And then he tells the Council about Anakin, but not directly. Another couple useless scenes later, Anakin is tested by the Council. Then Palpatine gets nominated for Chancellor. Now Obi-Wan is a solo Jedi. Qui-Gon takes on Anakin as his apprentice, or so he thinks. The battle starts a little while after. You probably know what happens. Qui-Gon dies and Anakin becomes a hero. Finally, after all, Qui-Gon's funeral happens as the rule of two is cited, and an uneasy feeling leads into the celebration as the movie ends. Now, my thoughts are high about this movie. It is my favorite Star Wars movie because it has a great plot, but many people hate it. Overall, it is a very good movie, and Jar Jar could not be replaced by anything else. Mostly, people who grow up watching the original trilogy kind of dislike Jar Jar in a way that he's not original. But I think he's totally fit for the role in many ways. And I really love Jar Jar's appearance in this movie. So, overall, I just like to say that they did a good job implementing Jar Jar in there. So, yeah. I rate this a 9 out of 10 on the Star-O-meter. In the beginning of the movie, as the Republic ship is landing in Coruscant, the Queen dies by assassination. Now, the Jedi Council and Palpatine are considering war. This is 10 years after the Phantom Menace, so Anakin is all grown up by now. Padme and Jedi meet again. Some drama with Anakin and Obi-Wan. They have a mission to protect Padme. Padme almost gets attacked, which leads to a high-speed chase in the air. Obi-Wan and Anakin find the assassinator, but she gets assassinated before she could say anything. "Why does it feel like you're going to be the death of me?" Obi-Wan says. "Maybe because he is!" Anyway, that's foreshadowing, by the way, if you haven't watched these films. Now, the Jedis both go on separate missions. The vibe that I'm getting has been brighter. The Phantom Menace had a dark vibe. But anyway, Obi-Wan does not think Anakin is ready for the assignment that he has been given by the Jedi Council. Anakin is not liking Obi-Wan too much at this point. But anyway, Obi-Wan finds a planet that is not in the Jedi books, Kamino, where the clones first appear. He meets the person who got cloned. He finds him, but he finds something fishy about this person, so he follows him, and he gets into a fight with him, and chases him, but he ultimately gets away. This person is called Jango Fett, who is son of Boba T. Fett. If you're new, you'll learn about him later in this video. Well, anyway, Obi-Wan lands on a planet. Then we follow Anakin and his quest for Shmi, his mother. This point in the movie, we meet the parents of whom I will not name yet. Anakin hops on his speeder and goes to a village where Tusken Raiders hold captive his mother, Shmi. It's pretty violent from the point his mother sadly passes away. Anyway, Obi-Wan goes into a place where he finds the mentor of the late Qui-Gon. Dun dun dun! Count Dooku, who was a former Jedi but fell into darkness. Now is holding Obi-Wan captive. So Anakin and Padme have gone to save Obi-Wan. They go through many life-threatening obstacles, but get captured, and now are in a big arena with many creatures. Here, there are many Jedi and droids fighting. Mace Windu kills Jango Fett and leaves Boba all alone. Can't you consider that this guy has a son? Disgrace to you, Mace. Anyway, Yoda to the rescue as many clones come. Dooku has left and the Jedi go to face him. They have a fight with him, and after some useless fighting, Yoda shows up and gives Dooku a piece of his mind. Still, Dooku gets away. Then, Palpatine and the Jedi watch over a clone army. Then, Anakin and Padme get married in secret as the movie ends. Now, my thoughts are pretty average about this movie. This movie is fine, but it is the least favorite of the prequels in my opinion, and just sets up points that only in episode 3 they resolve or fixate more on. I rate this a 6 out of 10 on the Star-O-meter. In the beginning of the movie, the Jedi go on a mission in space. They go on a ship that has Count Dooku and the captured Chancellor Palpatine. They arrive where Palpatine is, but they have to go through Dooku. They defeat him in a dark side fashion, which is another doing of Palpatine's facade. They rescue Palpatine and evacuate, or at least try to land. When they land, Padme, in secret, reveals that she is pregnant with Anakin's baby. Boom! Anakin has a nightmare, but this time it is not about Shmi, but about Padme dying. This leads to Anakin to be overprotective and trying to seek something. Foreshadowing! Anakin gets to be on the council, but not a master. He is not too happy with that. Anyway, Anakin has a mission to spy on Palpatine. Here, Palpatine tells about Darth Plagueis. Plagueis has a way to bring back people by midichlorians. Now Anakin has a way to bring back Padme when and if she dies. Now he is believing a little bit in the dark side. Something I should have mentioned before was that General Grievous is a key point in this story. Now, General Grievous was hiding on a planet called Utapau with many officials. The capture of General Grievous would end the war. Kenobi is sent on a mission to kill or capture him. Let's set the scene. Count Dooku has died, leading all the droids to be on Utapau and Kashyyyk. And General Grievous, if General Grievous is taken out, then can be taken out easily. The droids can be taken out easily, and the end of the war will take effect. Boom. But anyway, a sentimental scene later by Obi-Wan and Anakin, the last they will have before they split. Obi-Wan heads to Utapau. Yoda goes to Kashyyyk because he has tight friendship with the Wookiees who are there. And we also need to wipe out the droids on Kashyyyk. Anakin finds out Palpatine is evil and reports him. But over on Kashyyyk, Yoda's fighting with the Wookiees. Anyway, Mace Windu and other Jedi go to arrest Palpatine, but they fail, getting into a fight instead. Right about now, General Grievous is taken out by Kenobi, and the Jedi think the war is over. But Mace Windu and Palpatine are still fighting, and Mace gets Palpatine in a checkmate. He is almost destroyed before Palpatine strikes back using lightning. Here, Anakin falls completely to the dark side as he helps Palpatine survive. Order 66 has now been started, which basically, for anybody who hasn't watched the movies, where the clones who are on the Jedi side take over the Jedi and turn on them and kill them. Many Jedi are lost, but Obi-Wan gets away along with Yoda. Anakin goes to Mustafar. Padme and Obi-Wan go to save him, but it's too late. Obi-Wan fights with him in the most iconic Star Wars battle of the prequels. A while into the fight, Obi-Wan has the high ground. While this is happening, Yoda is fighting Palpatine, but he doesn't win or lose, but still manages to get away. But back on the high ground, Obi-Wan is on a slope. It's like a little hill. I mean, that where Anakin is on a little thing where it's above lava. Remember, this is a volcanic planet. Anakin jumps, but he gets his legs chopped off, and Obi-Wan says that he was the chosen one, and more, then leaves, crying and desperate. Now Padme gives birth to twins and names them Luke and Leia. She dies shortly after. Now Anakin is found by Palpatine burned because Mustafar is a volcanic planet. Anyway, he turned Anakin into Darth Vader. Obi-Wan and Yoda talk for the last time. Well, alive. Obi-Wan goes to Tatooine with Luke. Leia goes to Alderaan with the Organa family. Yoda goes to Dagobah. Luke and his adoptive parents look at the sunset as the movie ends. I love this movie. It has a good plot, but it's sad. I rate it a 9 out of 10 on the Starometer. Who wouldn't kill for a Pepsi? I bet this guy probably would. I bet he would too. I bet they would too. Pepsi. Not sponsored, but you better try one today. Yes, welcome back to the original trilogy. Let's go. Okay. As the rebellion got the plans for the Death Star, Darth Vader and the battle cruiser chased the rebellion ships. They want it back! But C-3PO and R2-D2 see Princess Leia sending a hologram to R2-D2. The droids get on an escape pod. They head to Tatooine. They travel through the desert, and finally they're bought by a naive farmer boy, Luke Skywalker. Luke saw the transmission sent by Leia. You know they're siblings from Revenge of the Sith. But anyway, then Luke finds Obi-Wan or Ben as he calls him. This is 19 years after Revenge of the Sith. So remember, he hasn't really been out for really 19 years, and he hasn't really had familiarized the name. So he's quite old. He's about 56 in this movie. Anyway, Ben tells Luke about his father, the Clone Wars, the Dark Times, and the Jedi. Ben gives Luke a lightsaber, and he wields it. Now they go to the cantina for a pilot and hopefully a ship. They find Han Solo and Chewbacca, who is in debt with Jabba the Hutt. Han Solo agrees to the job and goes where Ben tells him to go. They come across a moon, or so they think. It's really the Death Star, a vehicle used for wiping out whole planets. But anyway, they go in the thing and have to hide through the check by stormtroopers. Then they're on a mission to save Princess Leia. They dress as stormtroopers and save her. Ben Kenobi sees Darth Vader and fights him. He concedes and passes away into a Force ghost. But not sadly. Actually, he wanted this to happen. He wanted to see Qui-Gon. Well, no. But they leave the Death Star. A little bit before this, the Death Star blew up Leia's home planet, Alderaan, with her parents Bail Organa on there, which was very sad. But anyway, they go to a planet to discuss the plan to have a way to blow up the Death Star right through a hole. Luke and others and others force hop on. They start slow, but then Luke senses Ben Kenobi, and he tells him to use the Force. And he does! He blows up the Death Star, but Vader wasn't it. Out of all the times that Vader was in the Death Star, this wasn't one. He got away. And the reveal will be that this is a pretty good movie. Short movie, but it has a lot in it. I like it, so I rate it about 7 out of 10 on the Starometer. So yeah, that's what I think of it. Here is Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. In the beginning of the movie, the Empire uses a spy droid and sends it to Hoth, where they think the rebellion base is. Han Solo saves Luke from certain death, in that little kind of llama thing. He's on the bottom of the screen next to Luke and Yoda. But then they start evacuations at the Hoth rebel base, and the battle starts against the Empire. They evacuate, and Luke goes to Dagobah to train with Master Yoda. That's the first time we've heard from him in about a movie or so. Okay. Well, Han Solo goes wherever, but Han gets into a flight battle. Then Luke finally lands in Dagobah and finds Yoda, where he wants him to train him. We see Emperor Palpatine first in this scene. Now Yoda tests Luke and finds out that he is impatient. But then Yoda gives in and teaches him. Darth Vader sends out bounty hunters to the Millennium Falcon. Luke tries to lift the ship, but fails. But then Yoda does lift up the ship. The Millennium Falcon is hiding on the Imperial cruiser, and now they head to Bespin, where Lando is. Lando Calrissian. In the next video, we will explain a lot about him in the Solo movie. I'm making that video 2-star 2 Wars MMTVG, but you'll learn who Lando is later. But Luke senses the pain of Han and Leia. Then they meet Lando. Then C-3PO gets captured. Then Luke finally goes to Bespin. Even though that many of the, like Ben Kenobi and Yoda, advise much against it. So, Then we get a hint and another hope. Chewbacca finds C-3PO in a junk pile. Now Lando is a traitor. He reveals Darth Vader and the Imperials as he tricks Han and Leia and Chewbacca and C-3PO. Now Han Solo is tortured and is getting ready to get frozen in carbonite. Vader is using pain to attract Luke. He gets encased in carbonite and now is taken to Jabba the Hutt. Luke comes and fights with Darth Vader. The group escapes. Luke Skywalker keeps fighting Darth Vader. Then he cuts off his arm. Darth Vader tells Luke he is his father. That's probably big news to all you new viewers of the Star Wars and watching this video. But Luke falls through a hole onto a pole. He is hanging on for dear life. He calls out via the Force. Leia turns around and saves him. He finally gets medical help. Darth Vader calls out for Luke via the Force, but Luke does not care. And finally, they look out at the stars as the movie ends. I think this is a very good movie. I would rate this pretty average, but it's a pretty good movie. This is my second to last favorite of these trilogy movies. It's a little bit better than A New Hope, but a little bit worse than Return of the Jedi. So, I'll rate this movie a good 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. So the movie starts with Darth Vader coming back to the Death Star. And the Death Star is now Death Star 2, which is under construction. C-3PO and R2-D2, likely on a mission, go to Jabba the Hutt's base. They let them in. R2 and 3PO deliver a message to Jabba the Hutt of Luke Skywalker to try to get back Han Solo. The offer is declined. They are taken to be servants. A mysterious figure comes to bid with 35,000 credits. That's a lot of credits if you ask me. But he says he has a bomb, so Jabba agrees. We see Chewbacca in a cell now. This mysterious figure is roaming Jabba the Hutt's quote-unquote palace at night in search of Han Solo. He actually does save him. Actually, now, he is Leia! Jabba the Hutt was actually spying. Now, Luke comes to Jabba's palace to get back Han and Leia and the droids. But he gets sent underground where this creature tries to eat him, but fails to do so, and gets killed. Luke and Han are sent to execution at the Sarlacc pit, but Luke tricks them and gets his lightsaber and starts fighting them. Lando almost gets digested by the Sarlacc, but Han saves him. Leia kills Jabba the Hutt. Now, Luke saves Leia, and Han blows up the place. No, Luke saves Leia and Han, and then the place is blown up. Now, the Emperor comes to the Death Star too. Luke saves Leia. No, Luke goes to the Dagobah system and meets Yoda again for the first time in 3 years. Yoda gives him a wise talk, and then sadly dies in the Force. They are discussing the plan now. Death Star 2 is orbiting Endor. The plan is to deactivate the shield generator from Endor and then blow up the thing. Lando gets going with their fleet. A battle starts on Endor as they're getting to the shield generators. The droids got on the Ewok side. They disable them. The generators, that is. Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader go to the Death Star. Death Star 2. Lando and them figure out it's a trap. Luke and Emperor confront each other and establish that it is a trap. And they know they're coming. But Darth Vader and Luke are now fighting in the most dark side fight of all. Luke gets Darth Vader in a stalemate. And then Emperor Palpatine comes to help and electrocutes him. Luke, that is. Darth Vader doesn't want to see his son die. So, he kills Palpatine instead. But Vader's suit is now malfunctioning. He is going to die. With the rebels getting through the Empire's defenses and getting to the core, now it is going to blow. Luke tries to save Darth Vader and takes off his mask. They share a sentimental moment before he dies. Luke evacuates and Death Star 2 blows up. Now, Leia reveals to Han that Luke and Leia are brother and sister. Now, they celebrate as the movie ends. This is the best of the original trilogy in my opinion, and it has a very good ending, and so very, very good ending and story. So I rated a 9 out of 10 on the Starometer. Has it ever been late at night on Tuesday and you said, "Hey, the new Bad Batch episode is out in another country"? Well, we have another way for you to see that Bad Batch episode. NordVPN! A VPN that lets you access different regions so you can watch your movies in either country-locked regions or just to see them a little bit quicker. So you should get NordVPN! Not sponsored, but you should try it. Originally, I didn't want to do these movies because you know what Mark Hamill said.
I thought, look, why mess with the success? We're never going to catch lightning in a bottle again. We had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Let's let the memories suffice.
But with that note along, continue if you want to, but I will be less vibrant in this trilogy because I kind of don't like the sequel trilogy. And now moving on. Okay, here is The Force Awakens. The movie starts with stormtroopers sent to a remote planet. We see Poe Dameron on this planet. He spots the First Order, but a little bit before, we meet a droid with the BB model called BB-8. We also meet FN2187, whose friend dies. He is in distress from, his friend dying. We also meet Kylo Ren and Captain Phasma, who both capture Poe. FN217 is second thinking about being a stormtrooper. We get to see a stormtrooper actually have a soul in this movie, and not to be a walking machine. We also meet Rey, with an E, of course, a scavenger on the planet Jakku. Rey meets BB-8, who has a message in himself. Poe is tortured by Kylo for information about the Resistance. He does not give it. Now, the First Order is out for the droid BB-8 because he has the coordinates for where Luke Skywalker is. FN2187 saves Poe, and Poe doesn't like the name FNN2187, and so he names him Finn, because FN. Anyway, this map that BB-8 has leads to Luke Skywalker's very secret location. Okay. So Finn, now they escape Jakku, but Poe is sucked up by quicksand. Now Rey spots Finn, and Rey attacks him. This map that BB-8 leads, all that stuff. They go onto the Millennium Falcon to escape from stormtroopers. Now Han and Chewbacca come back to the Millennium Falcon. They haven't been there since it had been stolen from some they didn't say who stole the thing. But now Rey and Finn have it in their hands, and the Millennium Falcon is now back with Han and Chewbacca. But anyway, now Han goes to see a friend, Moss. Moss gives Rey Luke's lightsaber. which Rey thought that Luke was a myth, so this is all happening very fast to him. Anyway, this base gets raided by the First Order. You know, Moss's base. So they have to all escape. Poe Dameron saves them. They get away. Han meets Leia again, but Rey is captured and is in bars. The Star Killer is a new device. That is kind of like the Death Star, but it can kill stars and a lot of other things too. Anyway, Rey is saved, but Han is killed by a son, Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. Now we have plot point. Ben Solo is the son of Han Solo, which Ben Solo's Kylo Ren. Rey fights Kylo in a sequel-style battle. The Resistance are trying to do what the Rebellion did to the Death Star, but to the Star Killer. Rey defeats Kylo. By the way, that doesn't mean kill. They blow up the Star Killer. Han meets Leia, and they celebrate. Now, Rey goes to where Luke is, and we get a glimpse of Luke before the movie ends. And now it has ended. I really don't like this movie. I think they shouldn't have made this movie. And I agree with what Mark Hamill said. They could never catch lightning in a bottle again. But anyway, I rated a 5 out of 10 on the Starometer. Skywalker, peaceful and solitary existence gets upended when he encounters Rey, a young woman who shows strong signs of the Force. Her desire to learn the ways of the Jedi forces Luke to make a decision that changes their lives forever. Meanwhile, Kylo and General Hux lead the First Order in all-out assault against Leia and the Resistance for supremacy of the galaxy. If you want to see this, just go watch it on your own time, because well, first of all, I don't have that much time to make this video, because I'm on the clock for May 4th, and also, I kind of don't like this one, and I rate it a 2 out of 10 on the Starometer. When it's discovered that the evil Emperor Palpatine did not die at the hands of Darth Vader, the rebels must race against the clock to find out his whereabouts. Finn and Poe lead the Resistance to put a stop to the First Order's plans to form a new empire, while Rey anticipates her inevitable confrontation with Kylo Ren. Also warning, some flashing lights seen in this film may affect photosensitive viewers. I like this one more than the other ones, so... But it's still not as good as all the other ones, so I decided to give it like a 7 out of 10 on the Starometer, just because it's better, definitely, than the other ones. It's a big improvement, but it's just not as good as the other Star Wars movies in retrospect, so yeah. So that'll end my review, and here are the stats.